My intention today is start from the ground, work our way up. When we work on the legs, starting with the feet can be really beneficial. So the feet, they have the imprint of the whole body in them. So you can just roll the feet. And with a foot roll, you're going to get the best bang for your buck because you have all of the meridians that begin and end there. And you also have this imprint of the whole body based upon embryology. So as we begin, I will mute you so that I stay on your screens. And let's begin with the feet. So to begin, take one of your therapy balls, take it out of the tote, and we'll take it to the bottom of your foot. So go ahead and stand up. And we're going to keep this pretty simple today because I want to cover all this ground. So just start by standing on the ball, and you're going to push into the ball as you roll. So you're going to push and drag, push and kind of plow the tissues. So it's like you're kneading the bottom of the foot, just like you're kneading bread. Kind of traversing the bottom of the foot as well, going from the inside of the foot. And then think about tracing each one of the long bones of the foot. So your first, then your second, then your third, fourth, fifth. Oops. The fifth one's always tricky. You kind of have to push the outside edge of the foot into it. And then now, after you traverse all those 5 long bones of the foot, come to the heel. And I want you to step on it like a high heel, but then slide the ball back just a little bit so that you're right at the front edge of the heel. And now I just want you to smush like a mortar and pestle, smush the heel in. And you might even find a place of sensation and just pause there. Getting that smushing and that grinding right at the front of the heel is going to be right at the origin of the plantar fascia, the beginning of the whole posterior chain of the body. And then just soften, let your weight come into the ball. And then slide back. So now you're at the broadest part of your foot. Oops, I'm right in like a bright spot. So I'll slide over this way a little bit so you can see my lower leg better. And now I'm going to keep the knee as still as possible and just arc over, over. And it's like I'm drawing a rainbow over the ball, just freeing up the lateral motion of the foot. This is so essential to avoid ankle sprains, to be able to accommodate uneven surfaces, which we have a lot of here. And then step off. And then just shift your weight side to side a little bit. Just feeling the difference now. The whole leg probably feels a little different. You probably feel a difference all the way up to the butt and to the hip after just engaging the foot. So now let's shift to the other side. And so now just start by stripping the bottom of the foot. And if you need a little bit of balance support, please hold the wall next to you. This is not, or if you have the foam roller, I know, if you have the foam roller, you can just hold it just like this. Traversing the whole bottom of the foot, forward and back. Getting each of the long bones, 1 through 5. Really got to push down when you get to the outside to 4 and 5, or else that ball starts to roll away on you a little bit. And then once you feel like you've gotten a good go there, come onto your heel like you're standing on a high heel. Back up again. And then move the ball forward just slightly so you're at the front edge of the heel. And then you're gonna grind the heel into the therapy ball, going across the origin of the plantar fascia. This is where plantar fasciitis usually originates, right? Where it connects to your calcaneus, your heel bone. And then maybe you just feel your weight in there, just hold that for a minute. That feels really nice. Take a couple of breaths. And then release. Stepping off and repositioning. Now working on that arc over the side motion of the foot. I actually like to hold my thigh here. So that I'm really isolating at the foot and ankle. And step off. And then just again, come back to standing and just notice how it feels. You probably feel a lot more grounded, like your feet probably feel wider. And I even feel a difference all the way up to my hips and my butt. So I like to start any roll that way. Like when in doubt, start with your feet. So now we're gonna come down to the floor. Pretty much everything else we'll do is gonna be on the floor. Although this next one, you could also do on a chair. Let me just grab a stool and I will show you how you can do it on a chair if you'd like. So I'm gonna do this on my hands and knees. And I actually like the slightly larger ball. If I use the smaller set of balls in the tote, I tend to put them on a block, and we're just gonna roll across the shin. But if it's uncomfortable being on your hands and knees, a perfect alternative is just to put those balls on a chair, hold on, and you can just roll right on the chair. Preferably not a chair with wheels. So whatever seems to work for you, give that a try. There's no right way. We're just exploring the shin. They also sell at Tune Up Fitness a double alpha ball. So you get 2 bigger balls that come in a tote, and that's perfect for this. I just have this one instead. Because I like the way the shin bone sits between the 2 balls, because you get the edges of the shin. And then try maybe circling the ankle or pointing and flexing the toes when you get to a particular sensational spot. And then start to progress down the shin, now getting into the bottom part of the shin. So I break these long bones up into 2 or 3 parts. And then if you find another point of sensation, I even put my knee down on the ground. I just stopped, and then I just started moving the ankle around, kind of tweezing the fibers underneath where the ball and the body meet. Find one or two more spots along the shin, exploring, pausing, maybe even just pushing and sitting your weight into it, feeling the weight of your body and time do the work. And then release. And now just to sort of feel the difference, sit onto your heels and notice the difference when you sit on your heels. When I do these general rolls, I love to pause and be like, oh, wow, I really feel the difference now between my left and right. So notice the difference and just observe it without rushing to change it or say, what did I do or what do I need to do? Just sort of feel like, oh, yeah, that's the effect of this. And then go to the other side. I like to start at the top of my shin. Again, choose whatever tool you have. You can put your small set of balls on a block. I like the big set of double balls. You could even use the foam roller. There's no right way. Wherever you can meet to yourself, you can stand up with it on a chair. It's a perfect, actually wonderful variation, especially if you have any difficulty putting weight on your wrists. First stripping, rolling up and down along the top half of the shin. And then when you find a set point of sensation, pause, pin and stretch by pointing and flexing the foot, even circle. And then continue to traverse the front of the shin, moving downward into the lower half of the calf. Maybe even putting the knee down on the floor as you find a spot lower in the calf. Coming back to the ankle motion. You may even sit your hip down, applying more pressure, meeting yourself right where you are, meeting the sensations, softening into them rather than efforting through them. Find another spot, taking about 5 or 6 more breaths on this shin. And then releasing, sitting back onto your heels. Great. The next one is actually one of my favorites. So I like this one because it covers a lot of ground as well. And I will offer up, you can use your alpha ball. If you have only one alpha ball and use the alpha ball, you have to do one side at a time. Or you could use your smaller set of therapy balls. But I really love this one. If you take the balls out of the tote, you might have done it with me before, and place the balls right behind your knees. This really does such an amazing job of creating a gapping in the knee joint, and we'll get into the calf as well as the hamstring as it attaches to the knee. And you'll find just start in hands and knees, and then you have 2 options. And take which one ever feels easier and more natural for you. You can sit back towards a child's pose-like position, making your way there easy. As you see, I sort of eased into it. Or I can start in that hands and knees position, walk my hands back, and start to walk up. This one's much more intense. If you need an external support and want to lean on something, you can lean on your foam roller, lean on a chair or a couple blocks. So that's why I find kind of sitting back towards that child pose is nicer. But wherever you end up, try to find stillness there. And try to just let the body start to soften. Soften into sensation. Breathing right to where the balls and the body meet. If you're feeling like really stuck here, like you're efforting and it's really uncomfortable, come out just a little bit so you can find sustainability. That might even be to add a little bit of motion. You may find that just a gentle rocking, like rocking a baby, will ease you into relaxation. And if you decided to use the larger ball, you can switch and did one side at a time. You can switch sides. Breathing deeply, letting your weight do the work. Let time and gravity be your friends as your body softens. And then now walk yourself up. And let's find one more ball stop along this line. So I'm going to come right into the middle of the calf now. I'm going to shift the balls back. Now you will sit up. And so where I am in the calf is right between the bulky muscle bellies of the calf. So you have the outer gastroc and the inner gastroc, and right in between at the broadest part, right between there, I'm going to place the balls. And I'm going to sit back. And you may feel it in the calves, you may feel it in the hamstrings, wherever you're going to be, wherever you need that love, that's where you'll feel it. Your body's going to let you know what it needs. And it might feel different from left to right. And as you arrive here, start to slowly allow your weight to come back. And then you can even shift side to side here, going across those long muscles a little bit. That rocking feels really nice. Breathing deeply. And then settle into stillness. Letting the body be really heavy, letting go of any effort, letting time and gravity be the drivers for this release. And then go ahead, come on all the way off. Now you'll sink back into your heels. It will feel so different now sitting here. It's almost like you sink through your feet as you sit back versus when you come to this for the first time. So just feel that for a moment. Allow yourself to sit here. And you may even start, because the back of the legs are relaxed, you may even start to feel a pull over the the tops of your thighs through the quads, which is perfect because that's where we're going to head next. So please come all the way down to your belly. Grab your alpha ball. And we'll get right into the front of the thighs. It's not necessary at all, but sometimes it's nice to have the Coregeous ball under your belly. You could put the foam roller under there. It's a little hard, not necessary, but if you'd like to, give it a try. We're gonna start at the bottom of the quad. Take your alpha ball, place it just above the kneecap, and then roll onto your belly. Let your head relax. And now we're not even gonna strip or roll up and down. We're gonna come right into a bend and straighten. We're just gonna start to bend and straighten. Bends. And you might find that it bends like 10 degrees to start. That's perfectly fine. As you bend and straighten, you'll notice it starts to free up, coming a little further. And then when you feel like you're able to move through that motion freely, come up onto your elbows and then just reposition, or maybe even just take the ball. That might even feel better. Just take the ball, reposition it up a little higher, and you'll just sort of strip just a little bit, go up and down just a little bit to find that just right next spot to land. I'm only using the up and down, kind of that rolling type action to find a place to land. And once you land, start to bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. You may even find that you want to rotate the leg out a little bit, or rotate the leg in a little bit. Find that just right spot of sensation. Listening to your body, letting the body direct you where to go. And then once you're able to bend freely here, let's add an additional motion. Now it's going to be the thigh goes out to the side, almost like it's like the foot comes across towards the back of the opposite knee and your leg goes out to the side a little bit. And then your knee comes in, kind of knocks the other, and your foot goes out. So now you're sweeping the leg over the ball. So you're rolling the ball side to side, and you're going across the fibers of the quad. So this is a little cross fiber massage. So the whole body is supported on the ground. Let your head be relaxed, using as little energy as possible so that you can sink into the sensation rather than effort or fight what's going on. And then when you feel like that's moving freely there, move the ball up again. Now you're a bit higher in the thigh. And now start to bend and straighten again. And you'll notice as you've gone through part of the thigh already, you're like, wow, my knee bends so much easier. So you'll be able to find that as you work the lower part and work your way up, you have a lot more range. So maybe pause, just sustain compression at a point you get sensation, or progress to that rolling in and out again, moving the thigh out, moving the thigh in, rolling across the fibers of the quad. That foot becomes kind of like a windshield wiper as you rotate from the hip. And if that movement doesn't feel good, maybe just sustaining compression feels right for you. There's no right way, only what feels right to your body. So what is your body asking for? The body is talking to you in its sensations, in the feelings that arise as you roll the different parts of your body. So welcome all of those sensations and ask them with curiosity, what do you need right now? And when you're ready to find the next spot, roll that ball up so it's right now in the front of the hip. So you're going to be just inside that bony spot of the hip, coming right into the top of the quad, where the quad touches that bony hip point. So just underneath that bony hip point, maybe slightly inside of it, find that point right at the top of the quad, right in the front of the hip, and just allow your weight to melt in there. So you're just beneath that, find the bony landmark with your finger first, and then you'll just come right off of that, underneath that, and you'll find right where the quad originates. And then let the weight of your body fall into that place. If this feels like too much pressure, too much sensation with your weight being on the ball, prop up to your elbows. Or you can take your other leg out like a kickstand to the side. So find a position that's sustainable. And as you're ready, you can bend and straighten the knee again. And then now we're going to add one more movement in this spot. So now curl the toes under on the right foot, the side that you're rolling. Squeeze your thigh. Now squeeze the butt on your right. And now point the toes and then lift the leg up towards the sky. So the ball starts to push into the front of the hip as the leg lifts. And then come back down. Keep the thigh squeezing, keep your butt engaged, toe pointed, lift up, and then lower back down. Let's do that 5 more times. Up. As you lift, you'll feel increased pressure build as you pull over that point where the ball and the body meet. So now the leg is driving the release. As you extend the leg, you're pulling that point right where those front hip muscles attach to the pelvis. Last time. And then release. Remove the ball. Lie down all the way on your belly. Feel the difference between the front of your thighs now. Take 3 more deep, relaxing breaths, resetting completely. And then transitioning to your other side. I'm going to spin around so the side I'm working is facing you. So start with the ball just above the kneecap, so you're in the thigh, not on the joint, all the way down onto your belly, whole body supported by the earth, right at the bottom of the thigh, above the kneecap, place the ball there. Yeah. Let your head relax. Just feel the weight of your left leg resting on the ball. And then very gently, without forcing past any restriction, just start to bend and straighten. Again, bend and straighten. It may feel totally different than the other side. Exploring that bending until you feel like you can go through the full movement. And then when you feel like you can move through that range fully, maybe even just take your hands, reposition the ball, moving it up towards the lower half of the quad, just a little heel toe action with yourself on your elbows to find that just right spot. And then find stillness again. Let your weight sink into the ball. And then bend and straighten. Bend. Moving up and down, using the knee to drive the motion, drive the release, until you feel like you can freely bend the knee. Once you're able to freely bend the knee, let your thigh rotate in and out, rolling over or across all of the quadricep muscles. You may even catch the outer edge of the IT band. And then release, finding 2 more spots in the thigh, working the way up the thigh. Maybe as you reposition, just coming up onto your elbows for a second to find that just right spot. You can also turn your thigh in and out. And the techniques you have to use are just sustaining compression and letting time and gravity create the release by just lying there, which is perfect. Or you can bend and straighten the knee. I just found a spot, and as soon as I started to bend, it really pulled. So don't rush through any barriers. Just meet yourself where you are and slowly allow that unwinding to occur. There we go. And so bending and straightening, or rotating, going across the fibers with cross friction massage by rotating the hip. Listen to what your body is asking. Note the sensations of your body and ask them what they need right now. How can you give yourself support so you can enter into these mobilizations with ease, less efforting, more easing, more dropping into them. And then move the ball up one more time. Find one more spot in the front of the thigh. Pausing, bending and straightening, or rotating. Meeting yourself exactly where you are, melting into the weight of the ball. Trying to be as relaxed throughout your entire body as possible. It's good to spend a fair amount of time in the front of the thigh. It's where the densest connective tissue body lives in the body. So take just a few more breaths. And then we'll all meet right at the origin, just underneath the ASIS. So if you come to the bony point in the front of the hip, just beneath that, just drop right off that bony point. And there should be a point of sensation as you rest the ball there. Take a couple deep breaths as you sink in right to the top of the quad. Feeling where the quad pulls on the pelvis. And as you're ready, start to bend and straighten. Until you feel the pull underneath the ball. And then curl the toes under, squeeze your thigh, squeeze your left buttocks, point your left toes, and then lift the leg up. Keep your left leg straight, feeling the front of the hip dive into the ball, and then lower the leg down, keeping it straight, lifting it again. 8, 7, just lifting to where you feel that resistance under the ball. 6, 5, engaging your butt to release the front of the hip. For 4, 3, for 2, last one, and release. Lie flat on your belly. Keep your alpha ball nearby. Let your whole body be heavy. Let your breath return to normal. Let your entire body surrender to the floor. And then roll to your side. Coming into our last roll. We're going to take this alpha ball now and place it right into our buttocks. You could also use a smaller ball as well if you have the plus size or the standard size ball, and you can do this on your back, but I'm going to do it sitting today. I'm actually going to come into a stretch position as I do the roll. So I'm going to lean back on my hands, but again, just like when we rolled the shins, if you're not comfortable leaning into your hands, come onto your back. I would suggest just using a smaller ball, but I'm going to cross my right leg over. I'll show you both variations. And I'm just going to sweep out to the side. I'm going to tip the knee down and then come back. Sweep out and then come back. Keep going right there, or if you'd like, I'll show you the other variation. With the smaller ball coming into that figure 4, I'm lying down now and I'm just sweeping out. There's no right way. But again, if you don't want to lean on your hands, I find the lying down version better. I think it's better with the smaller ball though. I find the larger one, either way is good. If you feel like the smaller one's too pokey, larger one is great as well. I think I'll stick to the larger one. It covers more territory. And maybe if you find a point of sensation, give the butt a good squeeze. Push that ball out by engaging the glutes and then just drop into it. Take another 5 breaths or so on the side, sweeping across the glute, contracting and then relaxing, or just sustaining pressure, letting the body soften into the weight of the ball. Breathing deeply, efforting as little as possible. Relaxing the jaw in particular. Notice if as we started to get in the hips, the jaw started tensing up. And then when you're ready, uncross your leg, take the ball right to the other side, and then cross your left foot over the right, or whatever side you're doing, and start to sweep across the glutes. Just exploring, traversing the area, breathing deeply. Open and close the jaw again, relaxing the mouth. Maybe contracting the butt once you get to a sensational spot, actually pushing the ball out, and then relaxing back into it, feeling it sink a little bit deeper, and then searching for another spot of sensation. And then release. Being curious, exploring the whole back and side of the hip, sweeping, or sustaining pressure. If you find that you're efforting too much, if you're clenching your teeth or lifting your shoulders, just find stillness and hold that position and soften into it. See how much you can soften your body into the weight of the ball. And then release completely. I want to finish with one last really nice thing. So I'll give you a couple of options depending upon what you have. My favorite way actually to do this is with the foam roller. So we're just going to lift the legs up, come into a gentle supported inversion. A yoga block is perfect too. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to come into a supported bridge. A Coregeous ball could also work. It's a little less stable. So I actually prefer a yoga block to a Coregeous ball, but the Coregeous ball is great as well. So whatever you have, just lift the hips up now. So now we unleashed all of this stuff from our lower body. So now what we're going to do is we're going to help drain it out. So bring your knees to your chest. So now the feet are up in the air. Pelvis should feel really supported on whatever it's on. And then bring the legs up. And feel like you can get, I want you to feel like you can get the legs to a point where they feel weightless. Maybe even kick them around a little bit so they feel like there's no weight. And then start to point and flex the feet. The calf muscle that points and flexes the feet here is our skeletal muscle pump, which helps drain the lymph that can't fit into the little capillaries back towards the heart. It does, and it also works in the venous system as well. So anything in the bloodstream as well as in the lymph system, this muscular action helps return any waste back towards the trunk, which goes through the heart and then is purified. So we're using gravity here as well as that system to help drain out anything you released. When it feels right, just let go of that pumping action of the feet. Let go, letting the whole back be supported, letting the legs drain. Softening the knees, softening the ankles, letting everything be at ease. Can you still let the legs be at ease, even though they're floating in the air? Take 3 more breaths here. And then slowly bring the knees to the chest. And then from the chest, one foot goes to the floor, then the other. Once both feet are grounded, gently lift the hips to remove whatever's underneath it and lie flat on your back. Great work. Stay here as long as you'd like. And when you're ready, you can come on, meet me in sitting. Thank you so much for joining me. It was wonderful having you.